So we just did this step where I kind of went through and I played with auto tone, and I really improved some of the exposures, but that was on individual exposures overall. I still haven't processed the whole image together. So now that's what we're going to do. So I have this PSD file. This is my project file. It has my sketch in it, but I'm going to turn the sketch off. And I'm going to save it as, or just save as my Carl Fry Assignment 6 project. Now, I am going to delete my sketch layer. And I'm going to turn off the background and actually delete the background layer. Why? So that I have just the image with all the different layers with this blank emptiness behind it. So it's like a sticker. Now what I do is I go up to layer, and this is different. We haven't done this before. And I say merge visible. If I say flatten image, that's wrong, because that's going to fill in the background with white. By merging visible, it's going to keep the background empty, but it will push all of these different layers into one layer. So I say merge visible now. And now the only layers that it didn't merge are the ones I decided not to use. And so I can delete those. So now I just have one layer. And now I can just treat this as one photo and process it like one photo, like we did with our panoramic. So, but the first step is I want to save it not as my PSD, right? Because I've lost all my ability to go into individual layers. So I want to save this now as my TIFF, my Carl Fry Assignment 6 project TIFF, to the desktop. LZW always. Okay, now it's only 67 megabytes, not bad. It's still full resolution. Now I can run actions on it. But this is also a little different than what we've done before. So I go to Carl's Customized Effects. I make sure it's the only thing I have open in Photoshop. I don't want to have anything minimized. I go to Full Run Up, F9 to view. No matter how much you like it, I don't want you to just use black and white for this. It's going to say background copy is unavailable. That's because we didn't flatten it. But that's okay. You just hit return and continue. Everything else will work. You just have to hit return every once in a while, and it will make do without the background copy. But there's a reason for this. And that's because we don't want the actions to affect the white of our paper. And even so, some of them will, but I'll show you how you address that. And then we'll be all finished. Ooh, I'm liking that one. Vintage. That has some potential. Okay, now it's done them all, so I'm going to say Window, Arrange, Float All in Windows. We learn by repetition, right? F9, look at the variety. My goodness. Right? Lots of fun. Okay, so where is my original? It's the one with my name. There it is. So what do I like? I like this Polaroid one. Vibrant, fun, sassy. Now, why do we see such a bigger difference here? Well, it's because we didn't really process any of these, right? These are all kind of just raw exposures, so they were able to be pushed in lots of different directions. So I like Polaroid. I don't like heightened drama. It's too sharp. You guys, for yours, you might like a vintage effect, but I think it washes out some of the stuff I like. That's my assignment. I need that one, so I push that one over here. Black and white really kind of limits the potential of it. So I hope you can desaturate, but I hope none of you go pure black and white or full monochrome. Now this is crazy color, right? Usually that would just be ridiculous, but maybe there's something in that for this one. Sepia, no, too muted. Cross-processing. Well, it's probably very similar to Polaroid, and I like Polaroid better, so no. Max texture. I always say I like to use that one. Cool beans. Notice what it did to the white of the paper. I'll show you how to fix that, okay? So I'm just going to use that one so I can show that to you very clearly. No. Little too blasted out. Little too dark, though I do like it. Actually, I might keep that one. I kind of like that one too. All right, let's look at these now. I'm going to open them all up and see if any of them repeat, because I don't like to have more than 5. So these two are pretty similar. I think I'm going to go with this one and not this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I don't want this one. And I have another one I can show you that technique on. Okay, so how do I start? I take my original and I bring on the one that I think is kind of strongest. So let's start with the make it glow effect. What do I do? Well, the first thing I do, and this is the weird part, is I have to flatten this, right? And so I say layer, flatten image. The problem is, well, here, let me show you on another one, because I know this will affect the whites. So when I say layer, flatten image, in order to be able to bring it all over, look what it does to the white. They replace the white with this color. So now I select all, Command A, Command C, copy it, paste it on top of my original. So the problem is, how do I keep this purely blank? Well, this is how. You turn off the layer you just copied in, you go back to your original layer, you use the magic wand tool, you have contiguous unchecked at a tolerance of around 32, but it shouldn't matter, and you click somewhere on the empty space. And that will perfectly select out around your photos, because empty space, Photoshop has no problem indicating. It does much better than if that was white. And then I move that selection up to this layer, and then I hit delete. So then I have a truly kind of cut out version. And then I'm able to play with opacity and decide, well, how much do I want? So maybe about that much, and then I can close it. We want to have a completely empty background. So now I can take this one, I can flatten it, select it all, copy, paste, and even if it's white, I need to go through, I need to select that empty space and delete it from the new thing I brought in, and then deselect, and then blend it in. And the idea is to kind of make little decisions as you go that you think improve it. Make it better than all of these component parts. Is that my last one? No, Polaroid. Yeah, this is the one I like. I'm going to flatten it. Going to select it all, copy it, paste it. Go to one of my background layers, use the magic wand, click again on the new layer, and delete that background out. And then deselect, Command D, and then blend it in with opacity. That's with nothing. That's with everything. I just like kind of the blues and the shadows. Very nice. And then just to give some sharper focus, this max texture one, it's already flattened, so I just Command A, Command C, Command V, and then I change it to soft light, so all the colors come through, but it just gives me a lot more texture. Then I blend it down. Actually, maybe I want pin light instead. Yeah. Doesn't darken everything quite so much. Very subtle. Okay, now I need to do the last thing. I have to select this background empty space and then delete it from what I brought in. Before I play with the different opacities. All right, very good. So now, this is my finished archive project. This is what we will print. So I save that as my TIFF. So save with nothing in the background. But then the last thing I submit to PhotoBucket is the JPEG I make from this TIFF file. So save as my JPEG and just keep this name. You know, my final project or my processed project, because this has all the final color processing, both of the individual frames and of the whole photo. Okay, with LZW. Sorry, I just resaved it as a TIFF. I didn't need to do that. I need to save it as a JPEG. But it has that new name as a JPEG. And then you just want to check it. Make sure you like the way it looks with white behind it. Because that's how it's going to print. And the white becomes a big part of the project. Oops, wrong one. Where's my new JPEG? There it is. Mark that with orange. So now that's my final project. Quite a difference, right? In terms of finished processing and individual processing and kind of tweaking and taking out certain frames. I love how that looks like a drawn line, but it's actually just from the window grate. And this way, all of your edges will be pretty clear, even when they're really bright. You know, they'll all be fairly distinct. So that's our PhotoCubist project with an Earth Day theme. So I will put mine up, and then I hope you guys will put yours up, and then we'll critique this. Remember, you can always upload from other computers as well. And as long as you submit something by the critique deadline, by midnight on the critique deadline, you can resubmit for a better grade. All of you are going to be working on this project, making it as good as possible for printing, because this is the project that you're all required to print for the midterm. And this is the project that I will help you print on and just get the most beautiful large size print. So we go to photo assignments, we go to assignment 6, and I'm gonna upload my own. By using upload button here, once you're in the right assignment, it allows you to put your title each frame. Take all of these JPEGs, 1, 2, 3, and that's how I name them. The sketch, will be Carl 1. No applause is necessary. I understand the impulse, but the exposures on top of the sketch, but unprocessed, that's Carl 2, and the final project with post-processing is Carl 3. And we do that naming convention so that they are organized by title, and then they'll show up in the right order. All right.